gives us encouragement, and above it all, which makes us believe that tomorrow you too can be president. I want to welcome you sincerely, and I want to appreciate you. And now going back to the theme of what the event is going to be, you see, consolidating on our past, enjoying the present, and planning the future. And that is one of the major reasons why I expected to speak to you. And that is the sincere reason why I will be in Akwa Ibom. I will be in Cross River because I want us as young people and as the future of this country to continue to talk to ourselves. Yes, there was a past which we all came to meet. There is a present which we are guilty of. And there is a future which the younger generation is expecting us to give to them. Now the choice equally lies in our hands today. What kind of future do we want to have? What kind of Nigeria are we envisaging in 2020? And what is our role to ensure that the Nigeria of 2020 will be better than the Nigeria we have met today? The president, in all his effort as a president, is trying his best to make Nigeria work. And people have turned to the transformation to be President Goodluck transformation agenda, but have at all times refused to make it sound like that. It is a transformation agenda for the Nigerian people. Transformation agenda from our houses. Transformation in our conducts, in our places of worship. Transformation agenda that is equally the responsibility of our traditional rulers. Transformation agenda that is the responsibility of our teachers in school. When you say transformation agenda, it means there was an already existing transformed society. But this society needs to be transformed from what it is to meeting with the global practices. And that is what this government has come on board to give to us. It is usually very painful when young people sit to hope and they cry for change. They have at all times says they want change. They want a Nigeria where they can wake in the morning and find food on the streets of the country to eat. You can't find that because manners will not fall again. They want a Nigeria where they graduate from school tomorrow and they find jobs waiting for them. You can't find that because we are equally not giving in our best to find such society. They want a Nigeria where the civil servants feel that upon retirement they are entitled to owning a very befitting house. Now everybody wants certain things, but what is our responsibility to ensure that we achieve these things that we want? Nigeria is going to be celebrating 53 in just some weeks from today. And we have complained from 1 till 50. We will have a president who started from 51 to 52 and we are going for 53. The question young people should ask themselves is, are there bases of comparison between this present government and the government we have had before you criticize the government? Has this government at any time taken any steps positively different from how it has been before? And has this government be sincere or be committed to ensuring that there is transformed society? So if you find out that you do not have what you can use to assess this government, then you can criticize the government. But if you find out within the last 2 years you have what you can use to support this government, as young people, we are statutorily bound to protect the integrity of our country. There is no other young man of any other country or of any other African descendant that should come to protect Nigeria for us than Nigerian youths. We have the number, we have the population, we have the strength, but we lack one thing. That thing we lack is what they are using against us. We lack to realize that we are the leaders of today and the partners of the building of the future we want to lead tomorrow. At all times they come to us and they buy us cheaply. And we give them our consciences cheaply. And you have said today that there is a past which was yesterday. There is a present which is today. And there is a future which is tomorrow. But I always equally want to tell people that in as much as we must work within the past and the present to secure the future, we must not allow what has happened in the past and in the present to affect what the future will be like. The future lies in our hands. The determination of what the future can be is in our hands. But what has happened yesterday, we do not have control over it. We as young people must begin to think differently from what people have thought before. We must begin to look at issues objectively. We must begin to ensure that we play our role. We want a better society. We want a new Nigeria. We want a Nigeria where everybody will be treated with equality. But to what extent have we supported those that have been saddled with the responsibility of achieving that Nigeria for us. There are several things that were not working before today. Before Mr. President came on board, the rails were dead. But today they are working. So how many Nigerians, how many young Nigerians have woken up to commend the president in that regard? Before today, if you come to the airports of this country, the airports remain the windows of every nation, because it is the first place foreigners land, and it is the last place they live. So when they come in, the first thing they see them builds their impression about the country. And when they are going, what they see last day forms what they think about their country. And it therefore means, has this thing been the way it was before, or there are significant differences? Of course they are. So how many of us have supported government on this as young people? Recently, after the last festive period, the Federal Road Safety were not compelled, they were not under any statutory obligation, but they came out and they made to the Nigerian public know that this year they recorded the lowest number of road accidents, which means something is responsible for it. The roads are working. And these are things that have not been before. And this is a government that is just 2 years into formation. And there are testimonies clear like this. And government came and discovered that there are lots of young people that are productive, that are desirous of contributing to national development, that are equally pathetic about the nation, Nigeria. And government said, yes, you cannot have such minds and bulldozer. Government came up with shopping. Government came up with UWIN. And government came up with youth in agriculture. How many young persons have commended government's effort? Now we all read from papers on a daily basis and watch from telly where young people sit down and face the screen and insult a man that is capable enough to be in their parents in the name of freedom of information and in the name of a man that is simple and gentle because he's a father. You do not remind a man how to use a power, because when you remind him, he teaches you how to use the power to the fullest. We have now abandoned certain things and begin to look at governance as if we do not have any reasons to be objective in our thinking. So I appeal to us as young people to at all times preach to our brothers and our sisters that yes, in as much as you have a right to request, you equally have that right tied with your responsibility. That responsibility is first to be a patriotic Nigerian. You must be a committed Nigerian. You must desire at all times to ensure that the history of this country is better than it was before. You must always at all times see yourself that you could be president of this country. Yesterday, the president was told while he was a student of the University of Port Harcourt that he would be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am sure he would not have agreed with such things. But today, with divine intervention, he is president. So you must equally respect today, because tomorrow you too could be president of this country. So you assist us talk to our brothers and our sisters too, that we have a president that is a father, not just a dictator. We have a president that is passionate, not just a leader. And above it all, we have a president that is committed to ensuring that we have a Nigeria of our dreams, where our children will be proud of. But what do we owe this president? We owe this president support. We owe this president protection. We owe this president defense. And above it all, we owe this president to ensure that tomorrow we will be proud to say we are among those that built the Nigeria that we will enjoy. And if we do this sincerely, the future of this country will salute us. So I want to welcome you all again, and I want to believe that as we leave these places, we owe this country a duty. We owe this country a duty, because why I say we owe this country a duty is that we must try to begin to ask ourselves questions. That as at the time I'm sleeping, what would have happened while I was sleeping? Because while you were sleeping, some people were awake. They were awake working. They were awake working for either economic advancement or change. The change we want, there is nowhere in the world that change is cheap. Change is expensive. When I say change is expensive, it doesn't mean that it has a monetary value to achieving change at all times. But when change is expensive, it means that there are several sacrifices that must be met by the people to ensure that change is achieved. If you want a better society, you must sacrifice towards achieving a better society. If you want dividend of democracy, you must protect the democracy to achieve its dividends. These are roles that we must play. That is why democracy is defined as government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So at all times, the people are taken into serious consideration. And not until by the people you raise up to realize the fact that a government you have elected, you must protect it. That government will not stand. If a government succeeds, it is the people that have made that government succeed. If a government fails, the people have failed several times before the government fails. So if you say that the government has failed today, Nigerians have failed several times before the government will fail. But we know that the government is not failing and the government is working. So Nigerians must now wake up to ensure that the government works more than it is working. And you have a president that is listening. It is the first time in this country that the president will say, I have worked for 2 years. Have my assessment. Go and check it. If I have done well, encourage me to do more. If I have failed in certain areas, advise me on how to complement on these areas. He said, come, let us reason together. And I feel it is only fair for us to give him some support more than now. He needs our support more than ever. And if we want to build the Nigeria of our dream, we need each other more than ever. There will be have differences. Nigerians may have been torn around by different infiltration, ranging from those that are preach of ethnicism and those that are preach of religiosity. But we must realize the fact that coats of many colors that have always been stitched together, they are stronger than they were before. So if Nigeria is scattered, if we come together in one strong formation and resolve that we want to make a stronger and a better Nigeria, we can make Nigeria stronger and become a country that is envy of all. But it is my prayer that we will achieve that. May God bless us all and may God bless you.